Welcome everyone to this online FTP organized by AICTE and which is sponsored by AICTE and hosted by SSC NASCOM. My name is Kamna Jain and I am your coordinator for this program. First of all, I would like to say thank you to all of you for taking out the time from your busy schedule to join this FTP and taking the time to recognize the importance of upskilling uh, in your journey so that you can upskill and also take the learnings to your students. Uh, I'll just clarify a couple of things for all of you. Your attendance will be taken on Zoom. So once you join on Zoom, your attendance is automatically taken. Good evening, Dr. Prasoon. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. Please tell me, how are you?
Thank you. Good, sir. Good, good, good. I'm just welcoming everyone. So we have almost 600 faculty members from all over India who have registered for this online FTP on digital fundamentals applications. And this is obviously sponsored by AICT, but we are organizing all of it, getting the trainers and I'm just telling them that their attendance, because AICT is very particular about attendance. So attendance is going to be taken on Zoom. So once they join Zoom call, attendance is automatically taken. We are hosting the course on Future Skills Prime, and there is a course. They have all been given access to Future Skills Prime, where they can take the course, and the assessment for this online FDP is also on Future Skills Prime. We have given it to them free of cost just for this program. So a special closed group we have made, just like we made a group for IMS. So we made a group for all the faculty members also. So I was just telling them that. And and thank you so much for joining for the inaugural address. After that, I will be sharing with them the whole process. I'll share with them a demonstration of Future Skills Prime and how they can how they can take the assessment. And I will just so before that, I would like to thank you for joining us and a little bit of introduction about Sir to all the faculty members. Dr. Prasoon Tripathi, he has kindly consented to deliver the inaugural address. He is the director, IMS Ghaziabad Business School, and has over 3 decades of leadership experience across academia and industry. He has played a pivotal role in strategic academic transformation, faculty development, and implementation of global accreditation such as AACSB and NBA. In fact, I have had the privilege of working with him directly and seeing how action oriented he is. It is always about what is the outcome and how to execute in a fast and prompt manner. He is also a key contributor to the outcome based education and institutional performance systems. He has previously served as Dean Development at Jaipuria Institute of Management. He's also held senior HR leadership roles in Sahara and RJ Corporation. He was a visiting researcher at University of Turku, Finland, and has done postdoctoral work at University of Agder in Norway. Dr. Tripathi holds a PhD from Tapmi School of Business. He is also a global fellow in talent management from the Wharton School. His scholarly work spans hospitality, supply chains, and organizational resilience, with publications in various journals. He has also led consultancy projects for the government of Bhutan and contributed to funded research with IIM Mumbai. He's currently an elected council member of AIMA and managing council member of PhD CCI. Chamber of Commerce, thank you so much. And with that, I'll hand it over to you, sir, for your inaugural address.
So there are people are still joining, right? I think there are about 122 people.
Yes,
So
yes, yes. I
we
think
wait
I'll
for
just
5
message
minutes.
in.
Should we wait
So
for two
let's
minutes? Or?
Yes, maybe then I can just show them the Future Skills Prime.
Yeah,
I'll
you
just
can
show
do
them.
that. You can do
Yes.
that. By the time some more people will join.
And I'll also message in the WhatsApp group. We have made their WhatsApp group. I'll tell them to join so that we have started.
Okay.
So, as I have informed all the faculty members, I'm just sharing my screen and I'll show you the Future Skills Prime platform where you can take the course and the assessment. So, this is the Future Skills Prime platform. Uh, your login IDs have been created. Registered email ID on Atal is your login ID and that is your password. My login is already created. So I'll just log in. And this is the portal. Uh, type yes in the chat if you can see this groups. If you can see this groups chat, just type yes in the chat. So you click on groups and then you just refresh this page. You will be able to see this group. AICT Atal Online FDP DAF STEM participants. Okay. And when you go here, this is the course that you have. Please complete this course. And this is the assessment that you can take. If you can see the course, please type yes in the chat. Snigdha Ramesh, if screen is not visible, it's visible for everyone else. So I'll just request you to log out and log back in. Those who cannot see the screen, please log out and then log back in. Karthik, I think you have to also just log out and log back in. Screen is visible to the others. Pushyami, you also need to log out and log back in. Basically, this is the course, this is the assessment. So everything is on Future Skills Prime, not on Atal. Okay. This is the course. There are 33 modules here, which are short modules. Every day you can do few modules. We have the courses are mapped to the lectures that you will be attending over the next 6 days. And this is the assessment. So when you take the assessment, please make sure that your camera is on. It's an online proctored assessment. Take time, at least keep half an hour for your assessment. Let there be no interruptions. You can only attempt the assessment once. So if you leave it in between, we will not be able to provide you again. This assessment otherwise costs 600 rupees, but for you all, we have made it free. So, so my request is to complete this course, the Digital Application Fundamentals course, and then take the assessment, which is Digital Application Fundamentals AICT. I'll stop the share now. You have to take the assessment at the end of the course. So on Friday, you can take this assessment or on Saturday after you have completed the course and attended all the lectures. I'll suggest that you take the assessment at that time. I will repeat all the steps at the end of, I will repeat all the steps after the inaugural address. So please listen carefully and I will repeat all the steps, no problem. But I need all of your attention for these sessions and these classes because you no you don't have to, Mr. Vikrant. There is no coupon code. It is free. You have to go to your group and you have to take the assessment. There is no coupon code for anyone. I will repeat the process after the inaugural, so I'll just request you all to listen. Yes, Vikrant, you are doing something wrong. That's why it's asking coupon code. You're not going in your group. Yeah, you don't have to pay 600 rupees. It will be a free assessment. So just hang on and stay with us. I will explain it again. Password is your registered email ID on Atal. And then you can reset. Vikranji, I think you're not listening. There is no coupon code. You just have to join your group. Assessment is there. You can enroll in it. You need to score 70% to get your Atal certificate. So should we start? We have almost 178 now people who
We
are
can.
there.
There's nothing much I need to do. I just need to, welcome everyone. That's all I need to do. So, good evening, everyone. Let's begin with a short anecdote. A few years ago, an industry leader told me, we don't struggle to hire engineers. We struggle to hire engineers who can apply what they know digitally. So, I mean, that time he used the word digitally. And that single sentence captures why this faculty development program matters. So, today, the topic which they have chosen for 6 day, a 6 day program, I think, 6 day training, FDP.
Yes, it's a 6 day online FDP.
6 day, it's a STEM program, STEM education and
Yes.
digital application fundamentals. So I mean, want to tell that are no longer an add-on to STEM education. I mean, they are backbone. So they need to understand and develop themselves. Whether engineering, data sciences, healthcare, sustainability, or manufacturing, that digital thinking defines how problems are solved. And that gives the relevance to the whole topic of digital application fundamentals. This makes this FDP a critical intervention at this point. Faculty today are not just teaching concepts. Those days are gone. I mean, I keep telling my all faculty members that uh, classroom teaching is dead. So when the classroom teaching is dead, then what do we do in the classroom? So I mean, when nobody listens and learns, hardly any student listens and learns from the classroom teaching. And then we need to do something different than what do we do. And so that's the reason we keep telling that faculty today, they don't just teach concepts. I mean, they are bridging theory with application. That's where they are no making it action learning. They are making it uh, experiential learning. So it's like classroom with industry, curriculum with the future skills. These are the things which they, and that's why this program is so relevant. I would would like to sincerely appreciate NASCOM for collaborating with AICT for this wonderful FDP. NASCOM, uh, I mean, AICT alone will not be able to do it unless body like NASCOM who bring industry foresights and emerging skill frameworks. No, they are advisors to the country and various industry houses, wherein AICT ensures scale, quality, and alignment with the national priorities. So both of them together, they are giving a sending a very very strong message, and they're saying that faculty development is a fundamental of a future ready education system. When we talk about anything, we talk about new age education and future skills and all these are built on the strength of our faculty members. Nobody else comes in. I mean, so today faculty needs to prepare themselves more than what they don't only need to prepare themselves. They also need to train and other students. And how would be they able to do it unless they themselves are no future ready? So I appreciate all of you to taking a decision of investing in yourself. So these 5 days time or 6 days time and resources which you are spending, it's not about money. It's about coming forward and learning it with discipline. And one thing I would like to say that if you are not disciplined, if you don't do 100% attendance, or no, you believe in no 40%, 50%, 60% attendance, or you skip it, probably you will not have right to tell your students that no, your attendance is low. Because we are very fond of telling our students that no, your attendance is low, you will not be able to appear in the class, in exams and all that, will not give you assignments and all. So maybe we need to be equally disciplined and join all 6 days and ensure and be more attentive, be uh, an example for all those students in the class that we can be attentive. And that's the reason we demand all of you to be attentive in the classroom. So please spare time, do it, and then and take advantage of it. But these things don't come every day. Possibly that most of you and probably all of you know 80% of it, or maybe 100% of it. But then you take it as a refresher. Then if you know all these things, then it's make it more no interactive. Then you ask questions. Then whatever doubts you have, you clarify and make it relevant. So that was my main address note I wanted to tell all faculty members, because you are the one who are going to build this nation. When we say that students are future of the country, but those students are no, they become future of country based on your strength. So don't take it as this FDP is a formal requirement. Just treat this as an investment in your relevance and your confidence, and also in your classroom impact. What you take back from this program, I mean, maybe I have not gone through the whole program, but you can directly shape how students think, how they apply knowledge. It's like mm, how prepared they are for the real world. So this would be the takeaway for you, and then you can go. I once again thank NASCOM and AICT for this timely initiative, and wish their program great success. I'm confident it will strengthen STEM education, empower our faculty, and prepare future-ready graduates, building on the strengths of our future-ready uh, faculty members, professors. That's all. I mean, thank you, and I wish you a very enriching program. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Tripathi. I think the reason we wanted to have you to deliver the inaugural was because the insights that you brought in terms of the kind of engineering talent that industry needs, or how faculty can shape, and how they can leverage this online FDP program. I think that is very inspiring. In fact, some many faculty members from IMS Ghaziabad have also taken this course, this FDP. They have been part of this FDP. So thank you for encouraging that also. And I think over we had a couple of online sessions. We have done online FDPs, and many of the faculty members from IMS Ghaziabad have leveraged this, and hopefully they can bring it to the students also. In fact, we have offered Future Skills Prime to IMS Ghaziabad students also, and we will be offering the same to all the faculty members who are joining us, that they can take the course, make it available to the students also. So
So I really appreciate the hybrid or probably online mode of imparting knowledge, because uh, it becomes easier for all of to. I mean, I don't need to travel to address this session. I know I take physically I travel, I take logistics issues and all that. Sitting at my office, I can address this. Sitting at the office or home, when if they have reached, they can learn that. So this is a very, I think, extremely important aspect of learning. This is one of the biggest tools which COVID has given to us. I mean, we at times we use it as a nuisance, but it's an extremely powerful tool they have given.
absolutely, absolutely. Otherwise, we cannot engage with faculty members from all over India, which we are doing now.
Yeah, I mean, there is, it has, this is a no leveler. So it's like remove the gap between rich and poor in terms of whichever, either whether you're rich or poor in terms of knowledge or rich or poor in terms of uh, money. I mean, you want to do some courses from Harvard, you don't need to spend about 10 lakhs rupees. You can do it from here. Thank you very much. I will not take much time. This is, I want to eat their time from teaching learning. I wanted to give it address. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Tripathi. I will just take them through the portal now and answer their questions for the logistics of the program, online logistics. Thank you so much for joining.
I'll be there for some time before I go, so I'll be listening to you.
Okay, okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much. I will just answer their questions now. So, just give me a minute. I'll just put my laptop on charging. Just give me a minute. Oh, sorry. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I hope I'm audible now. I'm audible now. Okay, right. So I'll repeat the instructions. All the classes and attendance is on Zoom. So you need to register on Zoom and attend the classes every day. The lectures are made according to the course, which is Digital Application Fundamentals. The course is available on Future Skills Prime. I'll show you the website in just a moment. Your registered email ID on Atal. Your group has been created on the Future Skills Prime. So your login ID and your password is your registered email ID on Atal. So you just log in, and then assessment is also on Future Skills Prime. Generally, Vikrant Madnureji, I hope you are listening. There is no coupon code. You just go to your group and you take the assessment after completing the course. So I'm now sharing my screen to show you the Future Skills Prime portal. I'll show it again. So this is the portal. I'll give you the link also in the chat. This is the link. Yes, I'm just showing you. I'm just putting it in the chat. You go to this website and you log in. Okay. I'm already logged in. No, no, you have to log out and then you have to go to this group. Just type yes if you can see this group here. You go to groups, okay, and then here you search for AICTE. When you search for AICTE, you will see this group. This is the group. Vikrant Madnure, if you can see this group, are you part of this group? AICT Atal Online FTP DAF STEM participants. You have to go in this group, and when you scroll down, this is the course that you need to complete. Digital Application Fundamentals STEM. And here is the assessment that you can take. There is no coupon code required. You don't need to pay 600 rupees. This is what you need to do. I hope it's clear now to you, Vikrant. Is my screen visible? Please type yes. Okay. Vanishri ji, I'm just repeating. If the screen is not visible to you, I'll suggest you log out and log back in. I'll just wait for a couple of minutes and I'll repeat the instructions. I'll repeat the instructions, sure. Dr. Snelata Singh, if you cannot see the screen, are you? Many people can see the screen. All those who are not able to see the screen, I'll just request you to log out and log back in. Just type in the chat the website where you have to go. Those who have got it, just type in the chat which is the website that you need to go to so that I know that you have understood. What is the website that you need to go to? Anyone? Or should I repeat? Yes, Future Skills Prime is the website. Correct, correct. This is the website that you need to go to. I'm typing it again for everyone's benefits. Vikranji, please note this website. If your group, yeah, the course name, I'm just sharing the course name also again. This is the name of the course. You want to know your course, yeah. This, but you will only get it in your group. So you have to go to this group. Is it visible now? Okay, wait. Participants. Prakash Koteti ji, I've made you the panelist. I'm trying to make you the panelist. You just have to accept it. And I've also sent you your customized joining link. Should I resend it to you? Please message me if you think I need to. So it's a it's a closed group. Yes, Dr. Snelata Singh, I'm just repeating the steps once again. Okay. Now please listen very carefully. I'm just repeating the steps. One second. I'm just repeating the steps. Yeah. So I'm repeating the steps again. Uh, you have to go to this website, futureskillsprime.in. I'll also share with all of you a step-by-step guide. Okay. Yes, I'm going to show that also. This is the, I hope you can see the screen. Anjali Jagtiani ji, Tabassum Khan ji, Vikrant ji, just please just listen very carefully. So this is the website Future Skills Prime. Okay. I hope you can see this website, Future Skills Prime. Okay. I'm already logged in actually. You have to log in with the email ID with which you registered on Atal. Your has been created. All those who joined late, those who registered today. So Vikranji, you joined today. I will get you added in the group. We will get all those who joined today. Your group is still not made because you were late in joining. We will make your group by tomorrow. Okay. And then you can go to groups over here. Vikrant, have you understood? If you have understood, can you just say yes? Vikrant Madnureji, if you have understood, all those who joined today, Vikrant Madnure, you have registered today. You were late in registering. So the group, all those who registered today, their group will be made tomorrow. Vanishri ji, when did you register? All those who registered today, your group is not made. It takes a little time. All those who registered earlier, their group is made. We'll make your group by tomorrow. Your group will be made. So all those who registered late, which is today, your group is not there. But for others, so please have patience. We'll make your group by tomorrow. Others, just go on groups. Okay. If your group is not there, maybe you registered late. We'll make your group by tomorrow. You refresh here. You'll see all the groups. Okay. Otherwise, you just go to AI. Just search for AICT, and you will get your group. AICT Atal. Online DAF STEM participants. Your course, if you can see the course over here, just type yes. And this is the assessment. I'll repeat the steps again at 7:30. Right now, let's start with the course, with the class. I'll welcome Dr. Prakash Gotetti, who has joined us. He's a senior consultant with Tech M, and he will be taking this session on. And he has an academic background as well. I'll stop share 1 second. Stop share.
Yeah.
Welcome, Dr. Gotetti.
Thank you so
Uh,
much. Sorry, I was a little late. So,
no problem, no problem. So everyone, Dipankar Roy, Mr. Pulapasi, yeah, I'll share the step-by-step guide also on the group. I hope you've joined the WhatsApp group. I'll share the step-by-step guide to join, and I'll also repeat the instruction at 7:30 when the class is over. Next class, before starting the next class. Right now, please engage, interact with Dr. Gotetti. He is extremely good in his session. He'll ask you questions. So be attentive, and all the best for your first lesson. Thank you.
yeah, thanks,
Over to you.
Kamal. Yeah, thanks, Kamal. I hope I am audible, right?
Yeah, very clear.
Very good. Thank you so much. So, good evening, everybody. Let me share my screen quickly. So, hope you are able to see my screen, right? Is it visible? Yeah, fantastic. So, today we'll be focusing on a whole bunch of things pertaining to AI ecosystem, right? We are not predominantly looking at specific techniques that probably will be looking at subsequent sessions. So what we want to do is that we wanted to understand the overall AI ecosystem, and we want to understand AI as a discipline. Even though some of you might be aware of certain things, but I would like to put these things in a right perspective so that it will be easy for you to follow remaining sessions, right? And I'm sure there'll be some questions back of your mind, like for example, how do I prepare for the assessment, right? That will be one of the questions. So please pay attention to these sessions. that will take care of your preparation, right? So take notes of important points for all facilitators. Then if you can just spend like 20 minutes, um, like tomorrow or day after every day in the morning while you're having cup of coffee, that will be sufficient, right? Because we need to internalize the things. Some of the questions might be a scenario based questions. So unless we understand the intricacies of how it works, sometimes you might find it little tricky, right? All right. So in this session, we'll be focusing on few things. One is overall ecosystem of artificial intelligence, data science, and machine learning. Then we look at bigger picture of artificial intelligence, right? And followed by we will also see life cycle and various tools, right? We do some comparison of the tools. Then we get into some generative models, how the generative models came into existence, and some use case example. This use case example is on how one should look at machine learning, not in terms of, showing you some data set and running the experiments, showing the results, right? Predominantly, if you look at current trend, people are, most of the cases are in general, practice is people will take up some data set, run some experiments, try to get better performance metric, right? And then compare with the literature. But actually, if you really want to do good research in this field, very important aspect is algorithm design, right? So I will show you certain aspects in that direction, right? But first thing first, let us understand overall a ML ecosystem. So just a minute, 1 minute. I will try to just see. Just a minute. I will try to. Okay, fine. Let us begin. So this is the overall ecosystem, right? Like for example, if you see AI as a discipline, the focus of AI is on creating machines which actually mimic human intelligence, whether it is through reasoning or through learning or perception, problem solving, etc. Then we have next level of discipline because AI is like entire ecosystem. Below that, you have a sub branch machine learning, which is a branch of AI. It focus on running the experiments and getting the inference from the data. So the algorithms in machine learning predominantly are designed considering the aspect of learning from data without being explicitly programmed, right? That is the understanding of machine learning. So then deep learning, it is again specialized subset of machine learning, which will use a different computational model called deep neural networks, right? To model complex patterns and identify the relationships. And subsequent latest things that you are seeing, such as computer vision, right? And transformer models in natural language processing, and then generative AI, where you want to generate new text, images, things like that. And you also have agentic AI, right? Agentic AI has become more popular nowadays. So what are the agents? By the way, can you just type it here? So how many of you are actually working in AI, like designing experiments and the things like that? You can just say yes, the chat box. Okay, fine. What is an agent? Because agentic AI has become very prominent now, right? What is an agent? Anyone? So my question and your answer is not matching, right? I am asking a question, you are asking me, you want to create an account on future skills. So first you need to settle down and focus on the subject. Okay, agent is works with environment, actuator, sensor, performance measures. Yeah. So doctor,
I just want to interrupt. Sorry to interrupt. I will take all future skills prime questions at 7:30. Before that, I'll not be taking questions because I already repeated it twice. Now, first before the inaugural, then after the inaugural. So kindly listen to the lecture, and then at 7:30, I will repeat the future skills prime instructions. Thank you.
so what we are saying in agentic AI is you basically encapsulate an application where the application has the ability to learn from the environment, and application has an ability to learn from your domain as a set of rules, and then it will it will essentially take actions, right? Like for example, you take a robot which is let's say cleaning a restaurant, right? So robot goes and collects all the waste wastage materials, wastage food materials on the floor. Now, if the robot is able to pick up, right, autonomous robot is able to pick up these things and able to put it in the appropriate dustbins, then you award some what we call reward, right? So these are systems which are capable of taking decisions in autonomous manner, right? Which is very special quality compared to all previous things. Like in machine learning, it is predominantly data driven uh, model development. Deep learning, again, data driven development, right? And then derivatives from there, specialized deep learning models, that's where you start generative models. Like they can generate new content, whether it is text or images or videos, etc. Right? So this is the overall ecosystem, but we want to see how these are getting unfolded, right? Now these are getting unfolded something like this, right? Sorry. You have a, this is a bigger picture. Then you have a branch of AI, which is machine learning. Deep learning is again branch of machine learning, and generative AI again branch of deep learning, and then more specialized frameworks and architectures that are evolving on agentic AI. Now, to develop these models, to run experiments with these models, you obviously need data, right? So, first thing you need to understand is the computational model. The computational model in this discipline is slightly different from the computational model that we know traditionally. That is the reason when somebody says data types, right? If you are familiar with programming languages like C, C++, Java, you always talk about data types means integer, float, string, and things like that, right? But in this case, we straight away talk about data types means structured, semi-structured, and unstructured. Now, can anybody tell me what is unstructured data? Just type in the chat box. What is unstructured data? Divyanjali madam, you can wait. They will add you to the WhatsApp group. Okay, don't worry about that. Okay. Unstructured data, images, audio, and sometimes the reviews also. Like if you take some reviews in Flipkart or Amazon, there you will have some text written against the product, whether it is good or you know uh, bad, right? Average, etc. Apart from that, there will be some ratings given to that product in terms of stars. There could be some images there they might be placing in to demonstrate as an example for the quality, etc. Right? So there are a whole bunch of things that are coming to you as a feedback, right? So to process this kind of a data, you need different mechanism. Similarly, to store this kind of a data, you need a different mechanism. That is called unstructured data. So primary definition of the definition of unstructured data is you have a scheme, you neither have a schema conformance or not type inference, right? If you take structured data, you always look at in terms of relations, right? Or tables. In structured data, you have schema definition where you have set of columns defined like employee table, right? Employee relation. You have employee ID, employee name, salary, experience, etc. Now, each of these columns are called attribute describing your entity called employee. And there are constraints imposed in each of these columns. For example, age cannot be more than 100, obviously, right? So these are called domain constraints. There are certain other constraints you want to impose called referential integrity constraints, right? So there are a set of normal forms that you want to define on the structured data for easy access and efficient querying across the tables, right? Across the relations, right? So that's about structured data. When you say semi-structured data, semi-structured data is something where you can have a representation with a schema conformance, but type information is something difficult to preserve. For example, XML, right? XML is semi-structured data because you can you can give some kind of a structure to the data through annotated tags, right? But whereas type information pertaining to each tag is missing, right? So basically, when you represent your data in the form of XML, for example, or HTML, these type of representations follow what we call DOM, right? What is DOM? Yeah, correct. Document object model. So now in terms of computation, what we will look at is that, for example, let me share my screen again. Right? Give me a minute. So hope you are able to see my screen, right? Can you see the blackboard? Yeah. Now if you see computation model, right? We have first we look at traditional computational model. In traditional computation model, we have input, we have process, and output, right? So what happens in the process is a bunch of functions. So you send data to the process and then you subsequently generate output, right? Now, if you look at the computational model we are talking about, right? Let's say computational model for ML, you have input and you give output also. And this is your model. What you get is a kind of program. That's why when you look at the definition of machine learning, you will say that you will be inferring that without explicitly being programmed, right? So that's why in this case you talk about data types means you talk about integer, float, double, etc. String. These are the data types. But here, what are your data types? Unstructured, and then in between you have semi-structured, right? I want you to understand it. So, so the model, when you look at, let's say, machine learning context, or to extent even deep learning also, you develop a model, y is equal to f of x, and you often denote this as y predicted, or you also denote this as y hat f of x. And more to be more precise, x is your feature vectors, feature vector, where you have set of columns and so on. Assume that there are d features. Now putting all this together, you define your x vector as values pertaining to x1, x2, xd, right? So now we also have label y in case of supervised learning. And then you, you look at whole bunch of models, right? So you train your model using trained data. Then you take some examples, is your test data, but not that you are taking sequentially, but randomly you will take. Suppose you have 1,000 records, probably you will take 800 records for training the model and 200 records for the testing the model. You need to look at that way. So when it comes to model, there are lot of things that you can do in machine learning. First, we'll go through the family of algorithms, and for each class of the problem, right? So first, we need to understand in machine learning what are the class of problems. Let me get back to the slide. So this is about understanding the data. Now, obviously, once you obtain certain degree of proficiency in AI, then you want to pick up a domain. So domain can be something which is listed over here. It can be ML domain, or it can be NLP domain, right? It can be speech domain or robotics, computer vision, so on and so forth. Each domain you have specialized problems to deal with, right? So if you just look at machine learning, these are the class of problems that we deal with. Supervised learning. Their main branches are supervised learning and unsupervised learning. You can actually put reinforcement learning where the learning happens through experience, right? Under supervised learning, you have two types of problems. One is classification problem, another one is regression problem. Under unsupervised learning, you have three types of problems: clustering, association rule mining, and feature exploration, right? Feature engineering or new feature exploration, feature importance algorithms, feature reduction algorithms, things like that, right? Of course, within the clustering, you have a partition-based clustering, hierarchical clustering, and density-based clustering. This is the overall hierarchy, right? Now, when you just look at how much of skill proficiency level one should have, and what are the proficiencies that we are looking at, right? So basically, we are saying broadly AI, data science, machine learning. What is the difference between data science and machine learning? What is the difference between data science and machine learning? Let me just put a chart. Let me show the slide. Let me reshare. Yeah, you can see this slide, right? Hello? Yeah. What is the difference between data science and machine learning? Data science proficiency requires set of skills with respect to extracting the data, data ingestion, etc., etc. Right? So please understand that it is more connected with how data is retrieved and how data is stored, right? Whereas in machine learning, you will be predominantly spending a lot of time on implementing these algorithms, right? Yeah, you are correct, doctor. Right? So now in AI, we think of generative AI, narrow AI. There are two types of AI you see, right? One is a strong AI, other one is weak AI. Right? Most of the experiments that we are running are based on weak AI. Weak AI means that actually you are not as close as to human decision making, right? Like driving a car, or sensing certain things, right? Things like that. So, but whichever specialization you get into, any one of these branches, but you need some least common denominator across certain skills. One is a little bit of mathematics, then algorithms, machine learning algorithms, and domain expertise, data visualization tools, and then storytelling, right? So storytelling means, suppose you take some, you run some models, then you got some inferences. How these inferences lead to business decisions? That's what you are saying, right? Yes, you are right, Dr. Pushparathi, right? Very good. Thank you. So let me see if any other chart here. No. Good. Now, let us look at overall life cycle. First of all, you need to establish a, a research goal, right? And then you normally have project charter if you are looking at in an industry standpoint. Then you capture the data. Data can come from various sources, whether it is from internal or external. So data can come from different types of sources. So then you prepare the data. Data preparation involves uh, data cleansing, data transformation, and data aggregation, and things like that, right? So what happens in data cleansing is that you will be you will be handling missing values, right? So how do you handle missing values? Through replace them with mean or median, right? And then you also look at the data which is invalid. Like for example, if there are some special symbols or invalid values for a particular feature. So you deal with them by removing completely. And you also look at a kind of outliers analysis, right? You perform outlier analysis on this, so on and so forth. Now, when it comes to data transformations, in case of data transformation, you basically convert one feature to another, right? You apply some functions on on individual features, right? Then of course data aggregation. Data aggregation can be like you might be having multiple data sets. You want to collate multiple data sets, right? So after that, you wanted to explore the data. How do you explore the data? You explore the data through various visualization techniques. Some of the techniques can be like you want to do correlation analysis, right? And you wanted to do something like uh, graphical techniques, something like, you do bar graph, histogram, scatter plot, scatter plot, like this, right? And there are certain non-graphical techniques, which means you just construct some metrics, like when you are working with Python data frame, you would say something like data frame dot describe. Similarly, data frame dot info. So these are the typical methods which work like this under non-graphical methods. Then you basically develop a model, then uh, you present the findings and you deploy the model for later usage, right? So in this step, there are multiple phases you have. One is algorithm selection. You have family of algorithms for each of the class of problems that you are dealing with, right? And you have similarly execution step. Then once you got the outcome, you try to evaluate this model, right? And after that, you also want to fine tune the model. So fine tuning involves adjusting certain parameters, which are outside your data, right? These are called hyperparameters. So that's how it is. Now let us look at various tools, right? We wanted to discuss various tools also. So when you think of various tools, these are the tools. One is data cleansing, for example. For data cleansing, you have NumPy and Pandas libraries. These are popular tools I'm talking about. Data visualization reporting, you have Matplotlib. Then machine learning algorithms, you have scikit-learn library. Then natural language processing, right? You have NLTK framework. Social network analysis, probably you can look at networks, right? These are some of the typical tools that you can think of. Another thing that we should understand is the computational capabilities, right? The computational capabilities in the sense that you have two types of computational capabilities. One is GPU, which is a collection of cores. Another one is CPU. If the applications are computationally intensive, then you go for GPU. You can differentiate them in terms of five aspects or four aspects rather. One is architecture standpoint. When you look at architecture standpoint, your CPU comprises of few cores, and this is optimized for sequential tasks, right? When you want to introduce parallelism, then probably this will struggle, right? And GPUs have become more prominent. Most importantly, if you look at uh, heavy computations or computationally intensive applications, we talk about federated learning, right? Like how do I parallelize this whole thing? So now if you look at NVIDIA, right, it is more prominent in terms of computing infrastructure, right? Like it has different architectures to support this parallel operations in efficient way. You can think of training speed. With respect to training speed, GPU is much faster than your CPUs, right? For workloads such as artificial neural networks. Then GPUs are little expensive because obviously you are procuring a lot of infrastructure, right? Computational infrastructure. So CPUs are better for smaller experiments. It depends upon the data set complexity, right? And you can go for GPUs when you want to do, uh, large language, do experiments with large language models or computationally intensive networks that you want to design, right? Now let us compare various framework, right? So this is the typical comparison of various frameworks. We have like TensorFlow, PyTorch, scikit-learn, Keras, JAX, etc. Right? So if you look at TensorFlow, it's a kind of suitable for deep learning experiments. They have optimized way of computing this so-called computational graph. And there are multiple variants like TF Lite, TF, etc. And then you have support for TPU and then more complex for beginners. Then PyTorch, again, it is a deep learning framework and it is more prominent when you are looking for rapid development, right? So it is based on the construction of dynamic graph, right? But the production tools may not necessarily reach that level of maturity that one would anticipate, right? Now, scikit-learn library. Scikit-learn is a classical machine learning library. Whether you wanted to do classification task or regression task, it will support all the algorithms through various uh, functions, right? Of course, this Keras, this is high-level neural network API. It will help you to develop the models very quickly, right? And then, of course, JAX is becoming prominent now. It is picking up now. So, like you have TensorFlow serving, which is used for use deployment purpose, right? And then Torch serve, right? It can help you for real-time inferencing, and you have ML flow. Oh, one next is not very popular, but ML flow, it is a kind of life cycle management, right? End to end. So let me see if you have anything typed here. So hope you understood now, right? These things. So there are MLOps tools similar to your DevOps. You have ML flow. So this comes under category of experiment tracking. Then it is very popular. Then you have weights and biases. The weights and biases is again a kind of tracking purpose. You can create some dashboards, right? Kubeflow, it is an orchestrator for ML pipeline. Uh, these workflows are predominantly Kubernetes native workflows. Right? Then airflow is more popular nowadays, right? It is used for kind of workflow automation and then scheduling, dealing with directed acyclic graphs, so on and so forth. So model types, there are two types of models. One is a discriminative model, other one is generative model. So discriminative models, you express them in the form of y is equal to f of x. Classification and regression comes under dis, discriminative model. And of course, these are non-discriminative, right? Now we talk about large language models. What are the large language models? These are general purpose models which can be pre-trained and which can be fine-tuned for specific purpose. So they will be used to train massive data sets. Their fundamental computational model is neural network. We call it as transformers. They learn statistical relationships. When I say statistical relationships means between the tables, right? Then you can also think of fine-tuning them using some prompt engineering techniques, so on and so forth. So typically, this is the architecture of any generative model, right? You have input, the inputs are taken as random vectors. You map them into a random vector like this, right? In numerical representation. These random vectors are fed to your generative model. So generative model will generate new example which you use again a discriminative model. So what is the example for discriminative model? Something like this. F of x, right? Where x is set of features. Right? So basically what you're doing, you're converting this problem of generative model into a kind of classification problem to figure out what you actually generate using this model is delivering the results, right? So how you fine tune the generative AI model? Because you have discriminator will have, how many of them are actually close to real examples, how many of them are incorrect examples, so on and so forth. Okay, any question here? Good. Before getting into generative models, first let us understand various things that are pertaining to machine learning itself, right? So, for example, let me put it here. So, when you think of machine learning, we know that one is supervised learning, right? Other one is unsupervised learning. So within unsupervised learning, within them, you have two types of problems. One is classification type of problems. Regression type of problems. But for each of these type of problems, you have evaluation metric. Evaluation metric, right? This is how it is. Now let us understand first supervised learning. What are the tools and techniques we have? Let us say we are talking about classification setup, which means we are predicting Y. This is what you are doing. So typically here you have a data set something like this. Then you think of some values and you have a training and a test data and you try to predict your Y, right? The next question is understanding the algorithms in this setup. First one is decision tree, right? The next one is support vector machine, right? Then you have logistic regression. So on and so forth. So important thing is when you choose these algorithms, right? We need to understand why do we have so many algorithms, under what circumstances we will be using a particular algorithm. So can you just type your question here? Hello? Can you tell some other examples? You have something called k nearest neighbors, right? Out of these models, if you see decision tree, support vector machines, right? They are very popular, even this also, where you can use both for classification problem and regression problem, right? So, are you aware of decision tree? What is decision tree? You know, you don't know. Yeah, how it works, decision tree? Yes, you can use both for classification and regression. For example, I have two features. Let me take x1 and x2. Yeah, then you have y here. So basically you have a data set D with some positive examples, some negative examples. Now you choose an attribute. Now what kind of unique values it will take, you just check. Let us suppose I have a feature A which takes three values. So let us suppose these are the values that you have. V1, V2, V3, three values. So proportionately, you will see that what we call impurity. You kind of measure impurity. Right? So this is the impurity based algorithm. So how it works is, suppose you have two features, x1 and x2. Now you plot this feature space. Yes, you are right. You can use spam and ham. Two features. Now let us suppose in the region x1 less than or equal to t1, you all have positive examples. With x2 is less than or equal to t2. So you draw a line here. This is x2 line. Now this is x1 line. Right? Now on the other hand, it may not be this much actually. Now when x1 is greater than t1, right? And x2 is less than t3, something like this, right? Or something. These are all negative examples. And anything above, let's say positive examples, right? So these are called decision stumps, right? Yeah, madam, I think it is still 8 o'clock, no? My session. Please check.
Oh, yes. Yes, 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 yes. It is still late. Sorry, sorry.
So I understand by looking at your face, you came here to remove me from my session.
No, 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 not to remove you. I thought, sorry, there is some.
Because I started at 6:30, 6:35.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Actually, today was the inaugural day. Na, we just finished. Last week only there was another session with. So you were also there.
I
So
know,
yes,
but
yes,
I'm also getting confused because when I'm seeing at 6 sharp 7:30, so
yes, yes, yes,
I
yes. Eight
don't
o'clock.
want you to say just time up.
Sorry, sorry. Please,
No
please carry
problem.
on. Please.
That's fine. Uh, yeah. So this is a kind of nonlinear decision boundary, right? So in the case of regression problem, what you do, you kind of compute the mean value of these values, right? And from this, you try to infer that particular, uh, you infer the value for new example, right? Now, like some of our colleagues said, you have some random forest, right? So random forest is in the sense that assume that this is your decision tree. You have series of decision trees here, right? Because a forest is made of multiple trees, isn't it? So in the random forest, you have set of decision trees and each can use different set of features, right? Correct. So this comes under what we call some ensemble methods, right? The important technique, because this session is about tools and techniques, right? Decision trees are prone for overfitting. What is overfitting in machine learning? What is overfitting? Huh? Uh, Capturing noise. No, how do you visualize that when you are developing a model? That my model is fitting, my model is suffering from overfitting. So you have some performance measures, right? In the case of classification. So let us understand performance measures. We call it as something like classification report, right? So first you have with an example of binary classification, right? So you put actual class, actual label, positive, negative. Now we put here predicted, positive, and negative, right? So when you draw like this, right? So this region, this is that total positive, right? This is total negative. So this is P predicted. This is called P actual, N actual, right? Now this can be your model is predicting the label as positive. Actually, the label is positive. This is called true positive. That means what is TP here? Correctly predicting or labeling the example as positive, right? Now, if you look at actually it is negative, model is predicting negative, this is true negative. That means predicting or labeling as negative, right? That is true negative. Now, this is actually the label of that instance is positive, but model is predicting as a negative. So incorrectly predicting as a negative. So false negative means labeling the data point as a negative. So is the case with false positive, right? Now you don't have to really struggle to remember the formulas. Very simple. What is you define a quantity called precision, right? Precision means out of all correctly predicted positives over P predicted. Out of all predicted example, how many of them are actually positive? That is predictive. Now recall. How many of the examples the model is able to recollect? Recollect means out of all P actual positive, how many of them model is making this as true positive, right? And then you have F1 score, which is nothing but harmonic mean of precision and recall, right? Now there is something called accuracy, right? What is the accuracy? True positive plus true negative divided by what is accuracy? Hello, what is the formula for accuracy? Do you remember? You put all total actually here. TP, TN, FP, FN and all that, right? Now, let me ask you a question. Now you will see some people say that my model accuracy is 90%, 80% and all that, right? Do you think which one is the most appropriate measure among all this? What do you think? You can type in the chat box. Which one is most appropriate measure and why? Those who are saying that they are working on this, right? F1 score. Why F1 score? Any idea? No, no. It is taking harmonic mean. So that means it is penalizing this. It is actually penalizing the one side of the other, whichever is not, whichever is on heavy side. So, but my question to you is, suppose I am working with the healthcare data, right? Which quantity among them is most important with respect to medical diagnostics and healthcare, and why? No, no, don't put some other word, sensitivity and all that. You tell me which parameter among these, whatever we have defined, is more critical to be considered in healthcare applications. No, 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 these are not more appropriate things. No, not accuracy. You think about it. Anyway, we have one more session, I think, coming up as well tomorrow. I wanted to cover all the fundamentals of tools and techniques and everything, so that you will be able to learn better other specialized sessions, right? More specialized sessions. We have done so many things here, right? Lot of things we have calculated. Now, for medical diagnostics, which metric is more important and why among all this? Not accuracy. Recall. Okay. Kavita. So, madam, yes, recall is correct, madam. Why recall? Can you tell me? Same thing with Chitra Devi also. You both are correct. Can you explain why? Yes, correctly identifying all positive cases. What else is important among these parameters? Recall is correct. What is other thing? Hmm? That is false negative, right? What is false negative? Rupal's Rupal, I don't have answer to your question because I can only tell something connected with this discussion. Incorrectly, classifying it as negative, right? That means actually it is positive. The patient record is positive, right? Positive with respect to a disease. But model is predicting as negative. What is the problem with this? Any guess? What is the problem with this? Problem is the patient will not be subjected to further tests. It is a life risk, right? Because he will be happy. Suppose you are doing diabetes test, right? Now your machine learning model is saying that this fellow is not having diabetes. Then what will happen? He will go home and happily eat lot of sweets, right? And then what happens? Suddenly he will fall down. People who don't understand why this fellow has fallen down. Then you do rigorous tests, right? So the risk of life loss is more if our diagnostic is so sensitive for false negative, right? So you should always put in check on false negative. That's why another tool that we will use in such problems is ROC curve, right? You don't have to remember the abbreviation of the ROC curve. So you basically plot between TPR and FPR. You are expected to get something like this, right? The curve, suppose this is model 1, this is model 2, this is the ideal line, right? So using ROC curve, what you will tell is the one which is close to axis is better model, right? All right. These are all tools and technique about classification. Now, in terms of regression, what kind of measures we have? What is regression problem? In regression problem, y becomes floating point value, right? Example, you want to predict stock price, for example, right? Here also you have set of features, but y is real number. So your regression model is mapping between feature vector to a real number. This is your regression model, right? Now, what kind of error mechanism you will have? You define as multiple approaches. One is mean absolute error. It is also called MAE, which is given by y actual minus y predicted for each of the example in the test data as an absolute value with summation by number of examples. Now, another one is mean square error. This is given by y actual of each example, y predicted of each example. So when I say y hat, internally the meaning is y predicted. You just take square and keep adding them, take average of these examples, right? Now third one is root mean square error, right? So these are the measures. Have you heard about something called R square error? So R square is a measure of variance in prediction of y, right? Is what R square is. So there are again different discussion points, which one will be used in which context, etc. But we don't want to get into all the details. This is about core ML part of it. Classification regression. There, and you also see something like clustering, right? So why do we do clusters? Just to real life examples are customer segmentation, for example, right? Product segmentation. So here what happens? You try to find you pick up some centroid points. I am talking about k-means clustering first. So you pick up some centroids, assume that k is equal to 3, let us say. This is first centroid, this second centroid, and there is some third centroid. Now you try to find the distance of the points from each of these centroids, right? And you run these multiple iterations. So essentially and eventually what happens is you have set of data points which will be aligned with one of these centroids. This is how it is. Now, how do you measure quality of clusters? Quality of cluster you measure is you take the ratio of inter-cluster distance divided by intra-cluster distance. That means how far these clusters are separated out. That is one thing you look at. And within that, how close they are. Right? So this is about the k-means clustering. Now there is one more method is called hierarchical clustering, right? Hierarchical clustering means like the way you have AI, within that you have ML algorithms like this. This is the hierarchy we are talking about. How you construct a hierarchical clusters using the concept of dendrograms, right? But more or less, these are the distance-based methods. But sometimes what happens, these methods are very susceptible to outliers, right? Sometimes you also look at density-based methods. One of the examples is DB scan, right? So I don't want to get into all this, but typically this is all about classification and clustering. Then you have You have something like, you know, association rule mining, right? Now, for example, association rule mining means you look at some grocery data, for example, right? You have transactions, items. People will go to grocery store and buy multiple items, right? So you have multiple transactions, T1, T2, like this. Somebody purchase bread and milk and let us say jam, some eggs. Then somebody bought milk and bread and coffee. Somebody bought coffee, soaps, etc. Right? Yeah, like this, right? So in association rule mining, what you do is you wanted to place these items or you wanted to place some offers based on what people buy, right? Typically, one can think of somebody when they buy bread and milk, the very likely that they will also buy jam, right? Or very likely they buy some spread, right? So now when you have this kind of association, the attributes of bread are completely different with respect to milk and jam, but they follow some pattern based on how people purchase, right? So this is called association rule mining. So in order to say that what is the advantage of association rule mining, you can place offers in combination of these. And when you arrange these items, you arrange the milk adjacent to bread and jam, these kind of things, right? So that we can sell these, you know, high volume. The fundamental principle is like this. You define the rules, something like A arrow B. Then you define two quantities against each rule. One is called support value. Another one is called confidence value, right? How support is computed? Support is computed based on number of transactions with A arrow B divided by size of the data set. Your confidence is given by number of entries with A arrow B divided by number of left hand side. Correct? There is one more thing also. This can also be expressed as a probability, right? Probability of purchasing A and B together divided by size of the data set. This can be probability of purchasing A and B together by P of A. Now there is something called a lift, right? Lift is something like P of B. So these are the various measures for association rule mining. So apart from that, you have techniques like collaborative filtering, like recommendation systems, isn't it? Collaborative filtering, recommendation systems, and all that. What is a recommendation system? So recommendation system means that there are two ways you can look at. One is item based recommender. Other one is user based recommender. Item based recommender means like like movies, right? Suppose you watch a movie like Bahubali. Then you might get you also watched movie Bahubali 2. Then you get a recommendation like RRR, right? So they are computed based on item similarities, right? You convert into a vector, feature vector, use some cosine similarity and try to see which movies are more similar to the interest of the people, right? The other way is user-based recommender. In the case of user-based recommender, you also see that people purchased X, they also purchased Y. Like that means, you can get some kind of inference on that. But these recommendation systems based on the web analytics, right? When somebody spends some time on these portals, right? Through that session management, all these activities getting tracked, and then you construct a data set out of it, then probably you come up with these things, right? So, all right. Uh, in terms of this, we are talking about generative models. I will cover generative models and use case example tomorrow, right? I will stop here. Thank you so much, madam, for the opportunity. I
Thank
hope I
you.
am on time, right? So,
Yes, 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 yes.
thank
Thank you
you.
so much. Thank you for taking the session, and uh, uh, I look forward to your next session tomorrow at 6 o'clock.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'll just repeat all the instructions for everyone again. So, everything will be on Future Skills Prime platform, your course and your assessment. That is one. Now, those of you who registered late, their group is not made on Future Skills Prime. I will get it made by tomorrow. But for others who have registered till Sunday, those who have registered, we have made your group, uh, and your registered email ID on Atal is your login ID as well as your password. Okay. So I'll just show my screen here. Okay. So
Can I
that,
log off, madam?
yes, please.
You-
Yes, please.
Thank you so
Yes.
much.
Thank you so much. So I'll share my screen. Okay. I just want everyone's attention for the next 5 minutes because Rupal ji, can you just give me your attention for 5 minutes? I just said that there is no assessment on Atal. The assessment will be on Future Skills Prime platform, which I am just going to show now. All of you need to score 70% and above for your Atal certificate. So, what you need to do is, I'm sharing my screen now. Please just pay attention. Okay. So, you go here and you go to Future Skills Prime. This is the, if you can see this website, just type yes in the chat. Okay, this is the website. Okay, now you need to log in over here. Okay, when you log in, the registered email ID which is on Atal, the Atal ID with which you have registered on that Atal portal, that is your login ID, that is also your password. Okay, and then you can reset your password. So you will log in with your Atal email ID, which is also your password. So if you have, so if you can tell me which is the ID which you will use, which is the registered ID, it is on Atal. If you can understand that, right, Atal. Email ID and password are the same. Yes. And then you can reset. Correct, Snigdha ji? Thank you so much. You're right. Sridharan ji, thank you so much. You're right. The Atal ID is your login ID for the Future Skills Prime. So you log in. So I'm already logged in. I'll log in. Okay. And then you go to groups. Some of you who joined late, their groups are not formed. We will get it made by tomorrow. So Vikrant Madnureji, your group is not made. You just joined after 12 o'clock today. So your group is not made yet, but I'll add you in this group. Okay. So you go to groups. Now, suppose you don't see anything. What you need to do is you need to search in the search bar. You type AICTE and you click on search. So I have 3 groups with Atal, but you will have only one group. Okay, so you visit this group. This is your group. AICT Atal Online FDP DAV STEM. If you can understand this, please type yes in the chat. WhatsApp. No, 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 no. This is your group on Future Skills Prime. Yeah, I'm waiting. You have to refresh the page. Yes, I'm waiting. I'm waiting, Sumit Bansalji. I'm waiting. The step here is on Future Skills Prime, you go to groups. Okay, I'm waiting. So if your group is not made yet, if you have registered late, group is not made. So I'll make it tomorrow. Okay. And over here in AICT Atal, this is your group. Okay, I'm closing this. This is your group, and you scroll down here. You will see three icons. This first icon you have to do. This is the course. This is a good course which I have just given for your benefit. If you want, you can do it. Otherwise, you can skip it. And this is the assessment which is free. Vikrant Madnureji, I hope you can see there is no one is asking for any money for this assessment. But your group is not made yet. It will be made tomorrow. Yes, yes. It will ask you, you will have to create your account. So it is an onboarding form that you'll have to fill, Sangamitra ji. That's correct. Thank you, Dhara Parekh ji. Yeah, Deepak ji, you can take the assessment by Friday because you would have interested. Yes, you need to enroll here. Yes. Deepti ji, if you have registered late, then your group is not made. Yes, you can fill in your mobile number and university name. Those who have registered late will not get any group. If you already have an account in Future Skills Prime with the same email ID as Atal, no, you can enroll in this digital. You can enroll in this and then take the assessment. And in case if you're having any issues, please wait till tomorrow so that all the groups are made. And then if there's still a problem, then I'll tell you what to do. So we now have Dr. Gopal with us. Welcome, sir. I'll stop sharing first of all. Good evening, sir. Bhumika Zalavedia ji, you are registered but group is not coming. Can you just take a screenshot, search AICT and then send a screenshot to support at Future Skills Prime? हाँ. Dr. Gopal, are you there? Good evening, sir. No, you don't need to fill any attendance form. Just joining on Zoom will mark your attendance. And I'll take the rest of the questions tomorrow at 6. By tomorrow, all the groups will be made. And then we can take it from there. So please join. I will give you the instructions again at 6 o'clock tomorrow. For now, I'd like to hand it over to Dr. Gopal for his next session.
Hello, good evening, and thank you, Kamna. Can I get started?
Yes, please. Please, I'll request everyone. If you have any doubts about Future Skills Prime, we will take it up at 6 o'clock tomorrow. Right now, just focus on the lesson, just understand. For attendance, you just have to join on Zoom. That's all, Sukanya ji. That's all. It's marked from Zoom automatically. So over to you, sir.
Thank you very much. Good evening, and we are into a very good and a very important topic, ChatGPT for Excel. The idea of accounting is something that is central to how we have progressed into doing out the way we track the expenses. So many things have been happening. The central idea to our accounting is a ledger. Ledgers emerged in the 4th millennium BC as Sumerian cuneiform clay tablets. It's not something which is new. the way we want to track our expenses, the way we want to talk about accounts is a very old idea, 4th millennium BC. Accountability remains the crux of many endeavors which we are doing even today. The pivotal shift was the Italian or double entry system, which appeared around 1300 to track debits and credits, enabling modern commerce. So what we did is a very simple idea called double entry bookkeeping. The person who is spending maintains a simple table. What is it that, what is the head of the account? Why are they spending? They are all posted later into a bigger book called General Ledger, book lying or remaining regularly in one place. The transition from physical books to computerized systems and ultimately decentralized immutable blockchain technology, which resolves issues with trust. The community.nascom.in, which is something that has recorded the beginnings of accountability, which is 4th millennium BC, Sumerian cuneiform clay tablets for recording trade evolving into medieval tally sticks and so on. A double entry bookkeeping, what does it mean? Each individual will track. 88, we were all doing it. Each individual will simply put some a simple sheet. This is the expense on 4th Tuesday. This is what is it for. So let's say 25 people are there. Every week we used to submit. Each person has 7 and 25 people will have something like 165 such pages submitted to the accounts every week. And in a month, we'll have about, obviously, 165 into 4, that's around 600, 700 sheets of such papers will reach the accounts. What is it that is happening? That accounts person will sit down and collate everything. If it is large number of heads of account, the paper looks a bit more complicated. Every day, similar heads. There is no such serious concern in terms of putting down these numbers. On 4th, hotel, breakfast, lunch, dinner, the total. 5th, 6th, like that, we keep on doing that exercise. If it is many more heads of account in a given day, we'll have a more complex paper, a sheet which is having more rows and more columns. The accounts paper ledger, big sheets of paper spread out the sheets, permits storing figures. As we keep telling, the big ledger, the big paper will be compiled based on all the 700 pages which have been individually submitted. We think that each person will have similar heads of account. The heads of account into which all these expenses are posted is very clear. This is one entry. The second one is the ledger. It's a big book. That is the second one. So what is it that we have done? Double entry, one individual and one consolidated. Individual papers are picked up. If it is having more items, more expenses, more heads of account, it looks a bit more complicated. So we got a double entry bookkeeping. This is how accounts were formally made synonymous to the books, account books, ledgers. Those two ideas have become very central to accounting. It became very cumbersome. Why? Because the number of heads of accounts are increasing, number of people are increasing. The very first attempt, which is a successful idea, to make this entire exercise become automatic for large organizations is LANPAR, language for programming arrays at random, widely recognized as the first electronic spreadsheet. So it became very synonymous with spreadsheets, again from 4th millennium to the current way of talking about spreadsheet, which began automating this entire exercise into what we have gradually become accustomed to as blockchain. That's also a progression which we have to look into. Widely recognized as the first electronic spreadsheet application developed in 1969 by René Pardo and Remy Landau. It was designed to solve the issue of manual, tedious, and time-consuming budgeting for companies. One is, it is accounting, it tallies. Second, we will have to use it to do something else. How do we budget? Next year budget based on some expenses. It was becoming very time-consuming, budgeting for companies like Bell Canada and AT&T. Before LandPower, making changes to budget models took weeks or months for programmers. It was created specifically to automate the budgeting process for large corporations on mainframe computers a decade before VisiCalc brought spreadsheets to personal computers. Very first, 1969, LandPower gave a simple and an easy way of automating this entire exercise. It's a language. LandPower was a trailblazer for the mainframe era of spreadsheets. Pardo and Landau filed a patent in 1970. After 12 years of litigation, they won a landmark case in 1983, establishing that algorithms in software were patentable. This is another reason why LandPower is a very important idea that has emerged. And on mainframes, it works. It's a language, just a matrix, lines and columns, 99 columns, 999 lines. You can have each of these cells populated with a mathematical operation or a unit. You please understand this. They're all cells like this. 101 is first line, first column. It works like that. 99 columns are there. 999 lines are there. And each of these cells of a matrix can be a mathematical operation or an input. Boxes are constants, inputs, calculations, or even empty. It can be. If we don't want to fill, we need not fill. It is directly amenable to translating all these tabular ideas into what we call the punched cards. LandPower permitted forward referencing. It allowed a cell to reference another cell that had not yet been calculated, which was a revolutionary concept in 1969. So, based on the earlier calculation, another cell will be there. Natural order recalculation. Unlike later, less advanced tools that have been calculating left to right, top to bottom, LandPower could calculate in the correct order regardless of where the formula was located. It is of no serious reason why we should follow left to right or top to bottom. It's a natural order recalculation. Interactive operation, although not a WYSIWYG, what you see is what you get. Graphical interface like later PC tools, it was used interactively via terminals, modems, allowing for faster, more agile budgeting. You could communicate, you could calculate. There is no need to follow left to right or top to bottom. Wherever the formula is there, it will calculate, which is very natural for us. Only this cell has a formula. Don't worry about moving from left to right. Forward referencing, based on a calculation in a given cell, the content of another cell is determined. So LandPower has become a fascinating idea for the mainframes. Then came Dan Bricklin and VisiCalc. In 1979, that's a decade after LandPower made its mark in the mainframes, and it was proven that software can be patentable using LandPower. Visible calculator for Apple II. It pushed the sales of personal computers. A wild VisiCalc appears. VisiCalc was the first electronic spreadsheet software released in 1979 for the Apple II and is credited with driving the early adoption of personal computers in business by transforming manual financial analysis into an interactive, automatic process for creating what if scenarios. The idea of what if was so central because in budgeting, we want to connect all these data in various cells. We are curious to find out what happens if this cell number changes, this cell content changes. What is the effect on other related things? Very quickly, we will understand a central idea called what if, which makes the budgets happen. Essentially, creating the killer app that made PC's essential tools not just toys by replacing tedious pen and paper calculations. In an interview, Daniel Bricklin told how he got the idea to create VisiCalc. In the classroom at the university, he watched the professor draw a table on the blackboard where he entered the results of the calculations. When an error was discovered in the calculations, the teacher had to erase and re-enter the contents of several lines for a long time. Please remember, if a full blackboard is there with some calculations, somewhere one error has happened. How difficult it is to go back and erase to make the calculation happen correctly. This is what was observed. This gave young Bricklin the idea that this process could be replicated on a computer. The board in this case served as a model that demonstrated the results of the basic formulae. The VisiCalc was born like this. It organized the data in a grid of rows and columns, allowing automatic recalculation when a number changed. A revolutionary feature that laid the groundwork for modern spreadsheet programs like Excel. So, what happened with paper? That is, I have a very small content with a few heads of account and a few expenses to be jotted down, calculated. Every month, every week, each one submits. Every month, it's all collated into a bigger ledger. It tallies. Accountability is fine. But what do we do with these accounts? Let's say we want to work further. We want to process it further. We want to use it for budgeting. Imagine large multinational companies. If they have to sit down and do this for all their employees, it becomes a very big tedium. So the automation began with LANPAR, and the very next one, a decade later, came VisiCalc for Apple II for personal computers. This is how it was. It started with understanding that there will be rows, there will be columns. The idea is the same. We'll still have rows, we'll still have the columns. Please remember, in LANPAR, we had 99 columns, 999 rows as a ceiling, upper bound. It is just a matrix. Each cell can have an input. Each cell can have a formula. It can be blank, but then what it was doing is it was able to do some relationship amongst these calculations. If you fill this cell and tell that if I fill this cell with 1, this cell should become 10 times that other cell. There is no need for an order in which we have to process one cell after one cell. If a cell has to be processed, it will be there. The data is available, it will be processed. The same ideas, but now here what we are happening with is what if. VisiCalc was much more advanced. It shows the same idea on different screens. It progressed well from one version to another version, but then effectively what we understood is the way we have been improving the user interface played a very central role in the success of spreadsheets on personal computers. We don't have to learn a language. We don't have to think of punched cards. It is just what I am seeing, WYSIWYG, as I mentioned earlier. LANPAR was not WYSIWYG. What you see is what you get. We'll have to imagine that in these 99 columns and 999 rows, we can do works, but they are not reflecting the same old page which we started with, each one of us. It should reflect exactly the same. So this was more intuitive, more easy to understand. And on Apple, we had a facility of having different related screens appearing together. Screen segments were appearing together on a same screen. So from LANPAR to VisiCalc. Am I making myself clear? The process of accounting, which started with clay tablets in 4th millennium BC, has moved over to this idea, saying that related spreadsheets can come together on a same screen. We can still see this. From LANPAR to VisiCalc, and then for a short while, we had SuperCalc. What is the SuperCalc? SuperCalc was introduced by Sourcim, it's a company, in 1980. It first included the control program for microcomputers, operating system software package for Osborne 1 portable microcomputer. CP-M was a pioneering mass market operating system created by Gary Kildall of Digital Research in 1974 for 8-bit computers. SuperCalc appeared to be a competitor to VisiCalc in the late 1980s. The creator of the first commercially successful portable computer, Adam Osborne, was looking for someone to sell spreadsheets for his brainchild Osborne 1. So he's hired Sourcing Technologies to make a table for him that could compete with VisiCalc. This request was granted and it was done from the scratch. $20,000 was spent. The product presentation was a success. SuperCalc was bundled with Osborne 1. In 1982, this spreadsheet was ported to MS-DOS. For the first time, Microsoft has got a port of a spreadsheet which was happening. VisiCalc was a runaway success. Something like that was started from the scratch, developed by Sourcing Technologies to be bundled with what is called the Osborne 1, Osborne 1 series, which was a very important product which was happening, and it was running on control program CP-M. Once that exercise of porting moved to Microsoft, we didn't hear much about SuperCalc, but then it was an idea that brought Microsoft in the reckoning on a commercial product called spreadsheets. However, around that time, that is, SuperCalc was ported to MS-DOS in 1982. But then what was a runaway success at that time in the year 1982 was Mitch Kapoor's spreadsheets Lotus 1, 2, 3. This by far has earmarked an era in writing out spreadsheets, in writing out what is called the way we reckon with budgets, with accounts, the way we connect it to a database, the way we see the graphical representation. It is no more a drudgery to think of tabular forms, big tabular forms. Imagine this spreadsheet is connected to this spreadsheet. They are all connectable through a database, and then we also see them happening as graphs. This is the biggest success in the way the idea of spreadsheet has taken off. Lotus 1, 2, 3. But there were three predecessors to that. One is LANPAR, second is VisiCalc, the third is SuperCalc. Mitch Kapoor wasn't a typical technology founder. He was a former disc jockey who plays recorded music for an audience. A meditation teacher obsessed with making computers more human. In the early 80s, spreadsheets existed, but they were painfully slow. Mitch saw that the reason why the spreadsheet and operations were becoming very slow was because they were a layer above the operating system. The operating systems were not so sophisticated, neither were the memory management techniques or the computers were powerful. So what Mitch Kapoor did is he sat down to learn assembly language. That is the lower level of computing, connecting to the hardware, the real hardware. So Lotus 1, 2, 3 has a strength. That is, it works directly on the hardware. It doesn't need to go through the operating system per se. He taught himself assembly language alone in his apartment, surviving part-time jobs and persistence. When what he built became Lotus 123, a spreadsheet that ran so fast that people thought it was fake when they saw it. He called it that because it could do three things no one else had combined: calculations, charts, and databases. It was revolutionary, but the brilliance wasn't just the code, which timed it perfectly with the arrival of the IBM PC. Once it went to IBM PC, the assembly language programming, the power, the combination of calculations, charts, and databases, which were not seen before, made it very unique, and Lotus 123 was a runaway success. It was a revolutionary spreadsheet program for IBM compatible PCs. It does spreadsheets, it does data management, it connects to a database which is there built into the Lotus, and graphics, making it a killer app that fueled the PC revolution and became the business software standard before being surpassed by the Microsoft Excel. It was released on January 26, 1983. Mitchell Kapoor founded Lotus in 1982 with developer Jonathan Sachs. The product was designed to be faster, more capable successor to VisiCalc. SuperCalc was just happening on Microsoft. So in 1986, he left Lotus, co-founding the Electronic Frontier Foundation and becoming founding chair of Mozilla Foundation. Mozilla is another successful story. Mozilla Firefox was the most noted browser which came from Mozilla. Kaper described the early days of Lotus as high-stress war zone environment of rapid growth, far removed from his previous life experiences. It was done at such a fascinating pace with such brilliance that it has produced what are called every organization's collector copies. Lotus 123 for Windows, Lotus 123 made simple. There was no organization that did not refer to these books. 123 for Dummies. This is the original second edition guide to using Lotus. All this is fine. Now, is it simply having a database dump and then populating what is there in the database into the spreadsheets, charting our course of action, showing all those diagrams, how they are interrelated? There are no more numbers. There are no more cells which are related by formulae. You can visualize them. You can have a database backing it. It is not so, said Michel Kaper. He has pulled up his fellow developers, saying that what is missing in this entire exercise is design. The designer called his fellow software company executives to task for ignoring design. He issued a challenge in the form of Software Design Manifesto. It was reprinted in this chapter 1 by Terry Winograd. Despite the enormous outward success of personal computers, the daily experience of using computers far too often is still fraught with difficulty, pain, and barriers for most people. The lack of usability of the software and the poor design of programs are the secret shame of the industry. It went on into SIGCHI, 1994 SIGCHI conference. Kapoor gave a keynote address in which he argued for the primacy of design as an approach to human-computer interaction. The way the human element can bank on these software tools with design has become a talking point, working conditions. Many things have changed, and we had Bill Gates and Microsoft Excel chipping in next year, 1985. It was written originally for Apple III. 1987, it shipped with introduction of Windows. Windows was a operating system that brought along with it many things, including event-driven programming. It was having a very good graphical user interface. Introduction to Excel, spreadsheet. Excel calls it worksheet. Some terminology came, but then the Microsoft Excel was such a fascinating success that everything that we are talking about in spreadsheets became synonymous with Excel. Just get in Excel. So it costed way back in 88 and 89, roughly the time when this exercise was happening. Though we didn't teach Excel, we were only doing Lotus 1, 2, 3. 88, 89, we had an office automation course, which was teaching Word, teaching database, DBase 3 Plus, and spreadsheets Lotus 1, 2, 3. There was no connectivity amongst all these three. Windows, Word was happening, database was happening, Lotus 1, 2, 3 was happening. If at all any database is going to impact spreadsheets, it is what is built into Lotus 1, 2, 3. We can build that database, take it from that database. We don't have to repunch the cells over and over again. You just tell the spreadsheet, it takes it from the database if it is already there. So that became a very good idea, putting together Word, a database, and Lotus 1, 2, 3 was such a nice experience for office automation. This is a course that I've been teaching, and the other one was the programming course. Out came Microsoft Excel from this kind of a context where Lotus 1, 2, 3 has had its say, had its revolutionary approach, but Excel proved to be one of the most stable spreadsheet which connects well to other tools. Same GUI, same common user access. Microsoft Excel is a spreadsheet developed by Microsoft for Windows, Mac OS, Android. It features calculation, graphing tools, pivot tables, and a macro programming language called Visual Basic for applications. It is something which we have to look into very seriously. It brought together everything that you want to do in an office automation in under one simple tool called Microsoft Excel. Microsoft originally marketed a spreadsheet program called Multiplan in 1982. Multiplan became very popular. This is what I said, the SuperCalc, which was ported to MS-DOS. But on MS-DOS systems, it lost popularity to Lotus 1, 2, 3. Microsoft released the first version of Excel for Macintosh on September 30th, 1985, and the first Windows version was 2.05 to synchronize with Macintosh version 2.2 in November 1987. Lotus was slow to bring 1, 2, 3 to Windows, and by the early 90s, Excel has started to outsell 1, 2, 3 and help Microsoft achieve its position as a leading PC software developer. Please recall what Mishal Kapoor was talking about those days, the war footing. Spreadsheet was catching on like wildfire, and they had to slow down certain things. Mishal Kapoor himself left Lotus, became one of the founders of Mozilla. They moved over to the web internet world rather than the PCs world. Diversification has happened. Importance of Microsoft Excel: easy arithmetic solutions, various formatting options. Now it's a free format. You don't have to be bounded by only one particular built-in format. You can choose, you can have a different format, availability of online access, graphing, data organization, human resource planning, and then programming. It brought together some of the best ideas that we have been talking individually. Now, Microsoft Excel became so famous that we only do Excel. We don't even want to use these terms, spreadsheets or whatever. A grid of cells arranged in numbered rows and letter numbered columns, the same ideas which we have seen, to organize data manipulations like arithmetic operation, answers statistical, engineering, and financial needs. It's no more limited to only financial. The idea of spreadsheet has become so dominant, it can be used for statistical purposes, it can be used for engineering, and also financial. So an idea that actually stemmed from finances, the need for accountability has now grown to this extent. With all those ideas coming together, we can diversify for statistical and engineering purposes. Display data as line graphs, histograms, and charts, not necessarily charts only. You can have more varieties of graphs, line graphs, histograms, allow the user to employ a wide variety of numerical computations. It also has a variety of interactive features. More importantly, Microsoft Excel is readily integratable with the MS Office other tools, the same common user access it builds. So what we brought in the form of tabulating, calculating into the tables, and then connecting it to a database, connecting it to different graphs, has now brought wonderful features to solve statistical, engineering, as well as financial needs. The notion of spreadsheet has gone much beyond the accountability, accountants' requirements, and budgeting into more engineering and statistical, all the more important to draw the lessons from what we call designing. We have to bring design into this exercise. A lot of operations are possible. All cells are well connected. You can mark a cell, immediately a graph will come. It's a chart or a line graph or whatever you are wanting to do. It will come. The relationship among the columns. The formatting has improved. The formatting has improved phenomenally. It's more elegant. You can cut portions of the spreadsheet, display, put them together, organize. Which one do you want to see? Which column you want to see by the side of which other column to get a better idea? Mark out the columns. These things are great features which happened. And the basic terms of Excel, we talk about formula. In Excel, a formula is an expression that operates on values in a range of cells. You fill the cells, the total will automatically appear. The total here is G2 plus H2. Whatever we typed in row 2, column G, whatever we typed in row 2, column H, it will automatically appear. The total will automatically appear. And you can have a grade range fixed. It can do it. Functions are predefined formulae in Excel. They eliminate laborious manual entry of formulae. So what I am doing here is that out here I have to punch. What is it that is happening in I2? I2 is an outcome of G2 plus H2. This I'll have to build into that manually. It does. Well, that's a tedium. If each cell can have a different formula, if all cells are corresponding to the same exercise, it can simply become a function. Sum A1 to A3, a range of the row A has been given. The column A is there, A1 to A3. You can sum straight away and put it. It's so easy to come on the column wise and get the total. The sum is the total. If let us suppose the population is in A, column A, A1 to A11, sum, finish. Here what we are doing is sum B2 to B11. It comes. That's what is the better idea we thought. Functions will serve a better purpose. Excel 2016 has 484 functions. Of these, 360 existed prior to Excel 2010. Microsoft classifies these functions in 14 categories. Of the 484 current functions, 386 may be called from VBA as methods. That means the programming exercise, which is a Visual Basic idea, has become so dominant with the built-in functions. It's a progressive idea. We don't have to write any more serious program segments. It's built in. And what we can definitely work on is an overall view of the Excel, many user interface tweaks. Excel became the first spreadsheet to allow the user to define the appearance of spreadsheets. As I said, I can pluck a column, put it here, move there, make them colored cells. It also introduced intelligent cell recomputation, where only cells dependent on the cells being modified are updated. Only those that are getting modified will stand out. Otherwise, they don't make any kind of a concern. Excel introduced many important features. Excel also introduced extensive graphing capabilities, charts, different form of charts. So let's just quickly recap. It also has what is called a macro programming language, Visual Basic for applications. Everything is integrated. The Visual Basic itself is a wonderful paradigm, event driven. Please understand, we are having 10 windows open. The Microsoft Windows is so sensitive to which window we are actually clicking. All others are dormant. Only that the Windows Manager in Microsoft will very clearly respond to which window we are clicking. There are 10 windows, and the excellent Windows programmers, excellent Windows application programming interfaces. The power of the PC on hand is so fascinatingly used in this package called Excel, which brings together all those very powerful ideas which we have been talking and does more with the operating system Windows. So it is already a very powerful medium which we are using and building more functions, more capabilities. And now comes the integration of ChatGPT with Excel. ChatGPT is highly relevant for Microsoft Excel, acting as an AI-powered copilot that automates tedious tasks, generates complex formulas, and analyzes data effectively, transforming beginners into advanced users. By integrating ChatGPT via plugins or direct web usage, users can significantly increase productivity, often saving 5 to 10 hours per week by reducing time spent on manual data entry, formatting, and formula debugging. ChatGPT will take over. You just tell which are the spreadsheets which need to be populated with a particular data. It does it in a jiffy. We don't even have to look back, and already it's a very powerful piece of software called Microsoft Excel for the purpose. A plugin is a software component that adds specific functionality to an existing computer program or web browser. Plugins are designed to extend the capabilities of the host application without requiring any changes to its core code. Plugins work by integrating with the host application through a defined interface. The host application provides hooks for APIs. It's a very simple idea. We need to understand that I can definitely look at this spreadsheet. There is the Excel spreadsheet, insert. When I click on that insert button, it shows add-ons. What are those add-ons? We can simply go to the store, add-ons, and purchase whatever I want to do that. Power GPT, please add that. Immediately, we will get a button here, GPT for Excel or Word. In Office automation, we need to interface with Word. We need to interface with databases. We also need to interface with spreadsheets. GPT for Excel and Word is readily includable, and that is what is the application programming interface going to do for a plugin is just their software component that adds a specific functionality to an existing computer program or a web browser. Plugins are designed to extend the capabilities of the host application without requiring any changes to its core code. Well, that is the reason why a strong suggestion, please pick it up from the Microsoft Office add-ins in this method. Insert is there. Please click insert. Go to my add-ins. When we click it, it goes to the Microsoft Store. Pick it up from the Microsoft Store and it gets integrated to the spreadsheet. There are three built-in functions: GPT, GPT Translate, GPT Summarize. ChatGPT can sometimes produce plausible sounding but incorrect or nonsensical answers. It may also reflect biases present in training data and lacks true understanding or reasoning of capabilities, largely because it's a pre-trained. It is something which we need to understand, that ChatGPT stems from a pre-trained idea, which we have to look into. You have to upload. Other way of doing it is, please go to ChatGPT directly. It will take .xlsx or .csv files and it does the analysis. Second way of doing it, we can go to ChatGPT and upload them. Formula generation and debugging. ChatGPT can create complex formulae, mix and match. You have to simply tell what is happening and it will mix and match everything. Simple natural language descriptions. You can also feed it into the way we are progressing. Please understand, we'll now have natural language descriptions. We are no more bound by the existing formula, name, or a function. Data cleaning, automation via Visual Basic applications and macros, data analysis and visualization, structured, unstructured data. When I logged in a little earlier, Dr. Prakash Goteti was talking about the structured, unstructured data in his lecture, where it is being used to make an application more powerful. We can do all that. The data need not be structured, can be unstructured. What ChatGPT came out with is, there is no rigorous need for a database structuring like what we have been talking so far. It can be unstructured. It can have natural language inputs. Visual Basic applications, the programming language built into Microsoft Office, extend application capabilities beyond standard features, primarily through writing macros. Visual Basic Editor, it can be accessed, you can edit it. It's an event-driven language. Only when some action happens on an event which you are looking for, it gets activated. Otherwise, it's not there. Only when you click on a window of your choice, you can go to that application. Otherwise, it is not dormant. It is just there. An action has to trigger it from outside. Who triggers it? The user. The 10 windows are open. The choice of your window is an event. That gets triggered and the Windows Manager helps you go ahead with that exercise. ChatGPT can directly modify MS Excel files. There is no second opinion about it. You can build it or you can feed into the ChatGPT, plus it does it. Plugins and add-ins are can directly modify MS Excel files by inserting formulae, generating VBA macros, and cleaning data based on natural language prompts. These tools can automate tasks, create and insert data directly into the cells. However, ChatGPT does not automatically change existing formulae unless instructed to do so. This we'll have to check. We have to keep on checking. It was easy when only a few heads of account were there on a page given to me. I'll simply jot down, easily manually verifiable. Even if it is 600, 700 pages like that, a single accountant with a helper can post it into the ledger. A double entry bookkeeping check is there. However, we were not able to really do anything more than a simple organization, multinationals, capabilities for budgeting. The story of spreadsheet began because it's really a large number of people. Task is more daunting, and we want to be fully accountable on what was budgeted and how we fared on what we budget. That's also part of the accountability exercise. A ChatGPT plugin, it has gone viral. I picked it up from a good case study. Thank you so much for the support. Excel was giving excellent support. Shared the Excel plugin that lets you use ChatGPT in a formula A few thousand of you tried it. It spread on LinkedIn. People made TikTok videos about it. Someone even said that they heard about it at a dinner party. It's now into the open. What was a simple formula using ChatGPT plugin, it has gone viral. It was available everywhere. It's a good case study to please keep in mind that ChatGPT does not automatically change existing formulae, but whatever formula you have created can go viral. With the help of Excel also it was created, it has gone viral. That formula is used in so many applications. Google introduced the transformer and OpenAI's generative pre-trained. It's absolutely important to understand it's pre-trained. It is going on and on and on. So we can expect, as we have seen, no technology is fully advantageous, no technology is fully disadvantageous. There are certain limitations of using this chat GPT as an idea. We have seen hallucinations. We have seen things going in cycles and cycles. But then for spreadsheet, what is the concern? A simple cell, a simple formula, it spread like wildfire. It can happen because we are not able to bound it exactly with this idea called ChatGPT, OpenAI's generative pre-trained transformer. Transformer technology refers to a revolutionary neural network architecture introduced in 2017 that excels at processing sequential data like text by using a self-attention mechanism to weigh the importance of different parts of the input, allowing it to be understood in a context and relationship, forming the backbone of generative AI models like ChatGPT. It's bringing in context, the context of a big organization. The entire context is automatically fetched and built in. It's a great idea for language vision, complex tasks, powerful AI chatbot that generates human-like responses. Built on GPT-3, we have been spending time. We have been spending time understanding and enjoying the benefits which this powerful technology has brought to us on fingertips. And where are we applying it now in this particular lecture? Exclusively to what is called a Microsoft Excel, a spreadsheet, which as an idea itself was very powerful. And now it can be distributed. As we progress, I will take you through the exercise. Chat is a real-time text-based or sometimes voice video conversation between two or more people, typically online, that feels like a friendly, informal chat or small talk happening instantly through apps, websites. Putting together, we are able to make richer meaning, a rich media. Messenger or social media allowing quick exchanges of messages, photos, or audio, we can now put together to make it a powerful chatbot. ChatGPT is a powerful chatbot. One good thing is it is stemming from a pre-trained idea. Generative pre-trained transformer. It learns fast as we keep talking. A lot of people have studied this ChatGPT in a manner where they can benefit from all these features of ChatGPT. Versatile conversational abilities, subscription-based model, voice and multimodal interaction, customizable, fine-tunable, code assistance, creative content generation. It's a mind-boggling idea in terms of putting together what we thought was seemingly simple pieces of conversation which have been already docketed in an electronic form, digitally captured form, multimodal interactions, all of them put together, they form your corpus database, which are impacting. And based on that context, we can make this Excel very powerful in terms of generating what we have been talking as the most realistic scenario of working either in engineering or statistics or financial methodologies and processes. It does it. So many things are there, snippets of messages, voice, speech, so many things we can talk about, but that conversation is pre-trained. You can train that in the way in which you are building it into your Excel. Working with AI tools, an AI prompt is a text command written to a natural language to instruct ChatGPT, written in a natural language to instruct ChatGPT to generate a specific answer. The human communicates to natural language. As I said, the, this particular application has also augmented the way the human resource planning was also envisaged way back in 82. Excel became synonymous with data organization, human resource planning, and programming. For once, we are able to build in that human resource, which was so nicely envisaged very early in the way Excel was being used. So what we found is it will take care of the human very well. Simple prompt engineering, and it will push you into the ChatGPT. There are so many techniques. Now you see, because of the prompt engineering, we have techniques like role playing. You are an expert in so and so known, telling the AI to act as a famous expert or celebrity. Style, describe what you like about a style rather than copying directly. Use emotional blackmail and persuasion with the AI. Add examples of the completed task to the prompt. Use AI to generate good examples of the completed task. So there are so many things, so many techniques are there. Role playing particularly was something which is so fascinating. It looks good. Telling the AI to act as a famous expert or celebrity. Style unbundling. It creates those styles the way the expert was doing or somebody was doing and describe it. Simply describe. And then it takes up that style. Prompt engineering is a way to get the optimal results from ChatGPT by proper defining the specific task and its context. So what we are doing is we are not leaving out the context. We are defining the context. It's all there, unstructured, everywhere it is there. It's not the ChatGPT that is taking the context. The context is also determined by the prompt engineer. So this is the context, this is the style, this is the output format. So please understand that if a human being is looking at all those graphs, all those data items and spreadsheet, how will a decision making become? Context, the style, the role. The role of a player, they can all be bundled together in the prompt engineering and behaves like that. A power that is almost indicating that if XYZ works on Excel, this will be the way in which the decisions will happen. They'll happen automatically with prompt engineering. In Excel's context, this means using plain English to instruct AI-powered assistants. No more those functions, 484 functions, 364 functions, classified like this. There's no need. We need not be crowded with all those cryptic names of the functions. Can simply talk. Oh, this is what I am planning to do. Please imagine I want to talk about this column affected by a row which is there in this particular spreadsheet. And how does it work? It generates the formula or generate data models. These AI tools interpret your intent and build logic behind the scenes, eliminating hours of manual work and deep formula knowledge. We need not know that so many formulae are there. 484 formulae have been built into. A formula is more powerful than doing a calculation in the cell. Calculation within the cell was known very early. Early spreadsheets were doing it. But then the formula gives us a way of reckoning what is it that we want to calculate in a bunch of rows, in a bunch of cells, and we can scale it up further. That's an idea which is very, very important. For prompt engineering, The prompt is so important, you see, it talks about a clear task definition, brings in context, which is very important. The context of the organization looking at these numbers is of paramount importance when we talk about either engineering, statistics, or finances. It can take the context, it can have prompts based on role playing, it can have prompts based on style, and you'll get a automatically different format, the style of the format which we are looking for, and we can interact with that. Can build logic behind the scenes. Prompt engineering with Microsoft 365 Copilot. Unlock AI superpowers for Word, Excel, Teams, and PowerPoint. It's a very good book which we have to look into. What is this Copilot? Microsoft's integration of Copilot with Excel harnesses large language models to understand context from your spreadsheet and generate complex formulae. The context we need not really rackle our brains to generate the context. The Copilot will start building up the context. Show me the quarterly growth of each product. Create a forecast based on last year's sales. Copilot converts these instructions into accurate, ready-to-use formulae it uses. You can still see it happening. The assistant learns from your spreadsheet structure, column headers, and even previous inputs, making it dynamic and context-aware. To use Microsoft Copilot, access it via the Windows taskbar, Edge browser, or copilot.microsoft.com, and use natural language prompts to chat, summarize draft content. It's a very good companion. Microsoft Copilot is connected with operating systems, developers, business applications, our modern work style, data and AI, browser and search. Is AI-powered digital assistant designed to enhance productivity, creativity, and daily tasks across devices and apps. The devices are also no concern. The form and format of the device is also of no concern. It acts as an intelligent companion, integrating with Microsoft 365 apps, Word, Excel, Teams, the web via Edge. It's a seamless connectivity of a set of tools which make the office happen just on a voice command. We don't need so much of exercise of putting together. Please put together something about a Word, something about Excel. Please describe it. It automatically happens. Towards the end of the lecture, there are some such descriptive statements which generate what we are aiming at automatically. We'll look at it. The NLP tools comparison table, ChatGPT, of course, scores very heavily. Copilot is also something like that. You can use Copilot, Microsoft Copilot, and also chat plugins to get the similar effect. Prompt template, there are templates. You don't have to create your prompts from the scratch. They are reusable templates which are there. Put your text here. There's a place for your description. It tells you you have to put the text. Put your text here. There's a place for your description. Put your text. Automatically, this entire picture emerges and you can guide the user, do what you want to do for your description, and it gets into the action. So we have been talking about agents. Why agents are important? Agents are important because they are all the role players. You can have a role player agent. It works like that. In a limited manner, please describe the role, please describe the style, and it happens. The agentic AI is becoming so important for the software agents. You can build them, plug them. What the agent can do with Excel, process data in bulk. Enrich your data like a human does. We want to reform, we want to refine the data, generate content, analyze and summarize, work with formulae. So what we have done is create a very powerful tool for us to work on what began much earlier in a simple manner on accounting, double entry, and then build further across large organizations, use it for budgeting, use it for forecasting, and thanks to Excel, it is so nicely used for engineering, nicely used for statistical analysis and purpose. E-commerce, digital marketing teams creating or optimizing product descriptions, ad copy and SEO content at scale. Market research analysts conducting competitive analysis, sales, how many transactions are happening in a split second? Ziffy, millions, trillions of transactions are getting documented. It's humanly impossible to sit down and analyze all that data. They are all captured in Excel's. Analysis will happen. Sales outreach, customer relationship management, enrichment, consumer insights, specialist cleaning and analyzing survey responses or customer feedback. It is so nice translating your customer tickets with GPT cell. I can specify the local language. This cell is reflecting a local language. It attaches translation instructions. It attaches a glossary of terms, handle very large number of rows. How the zillions, trillions of transactions are happening. Access advanced parameters, get consistent translations. So when this group who has gone through this course takes it to the students, we should be very, very clear that they're all working on synthetic data sets for their projects. And the ChatGPT will help them take care of the nulls, how to clean up the data, depending on the context which we have given all at once. That kind of a task is now easily done like this. You can simply populate your Excel and it will take care of all the nulls, cleaning up the data. The pre-processing stage of the data is automatic. It is just done in a Ziffy. And data sets can become larger and larger. We have seen our students struggle. Large data set, it cannot get loaded on this machine. On my laptop, it becomes very difficult to load it. So we need to purchase some extra time, go across the network, and it will help them understand, visualize large data sets like what I have been talking, huge millions, zillions, trillions of data sets. They don't have to download or anything. This ChatGPT will take them there, work on it, and then build further. They can do complex works, much more complex work. So please see this. The cell is built in to localize. The translation is automatic. For how many cells, how many rows? Millions, trillions, as many transactions. So we have already built in that this particular row is reflecting Chinese, reflecting some other language. You can define the ChatGPT for Excel. Please look at my right hand side as I see it. GPT for Excel Word, it translates. It translates correctly, and then all those cells are populated. Local language input, translation. It comes. As we keep telling, at every point in time, from the beginning of the computer as an idea, computer as a machine, the million-dollar question was, why do we use this tool? What is it necessary for? It's a point in time when a committee reported that only 5 computers are necessary for the entire United States. Computers happened, mainframes happened. It's a revolutionary technology that was so quickly welcomed and absorbed into the society that today we don't have to justify it. We want more and more and more and more of this computing power. And it has definitely clipped the war by a couple of years. It has shown that it's a great technology which can be used to save lives, impact lives, and quality of life. So therefore, what is it that we need to understand is the idea of spreadsheet is now no more really in isolation as spreadsheet. It is connected. It is connected through various technologies. When India's supercomputing mission was there, every time the same question, every time we were talking about advanced ideas called weather forecasting, correctly forecasting whether the super computing justifications have to be happening on such complex problems, fluid dynamics problems, flow solver problems. So that's how we have justified. At that time, it was something that we were visualizing. Now it's a reality. It's a fact. Maybe, in 90s, early 90s, it was a visualization. Now, fantastic power is there at the fingertips. It's all connected as we see, as we progress. Coming back to the way in which we began on the financial markets, I'll show a case study towards the end on how the financial markets have been immensely benefited by this idea, this technology. The eighth, the way we have been talking about it analyzes. It simply looks at what is it that we have to look at a product, where it is being sold, how the categorization of the product occurs. This particular exercise, a description, it puts it into the software development, puts it into the clearing services. So many software applications are coming out, products are coming out, many things are there. Automatically, we can form a spreadsheet that categorizes them. This particular piece of software, company name, Farm Fresh, with a little bit of a description, takes you to agriculture, takes you to building materials, data analytics, medical devices. So in a Ziffy, we can look at volumes of data, unstructured, and then we get a nice spreadsheet talking about this particular company has a product which has a simple English description, and it maps on to the industry like this: agriculture industry, robotics, medical devices. What's the way in which we are categorizing? Categorization is very central to the way we analyze the real world. Extracting key information from customer feedback. We have seen the way the feedback arrives. What is the product they are talking? The customer is not so knowledgeable to talk about the language which specifically tells what is the problem which we are having. A description. A brief description is given by the customer. You see, it's not doing this. I think, there is something wrong with this particular idea. A vague user story, which is not really filled with the technical terms. This particular switch is not working. No, something I tried to do, the effect is like this. He can't analyze, he can't figure it out. So based on all those highly approximate, real life, experienced user stories, they are not being simply fabricated. Experienced story, he's talking about it. And therefore, when they are putting it across the product description, it will vastly improve on how many apps are coming. Every day we are seeing so many apps being released by the companies. Performing sentiment analysis on user survey results. This is what we have been talking about. There was an exercise that I was involved with. iPhone was released, and a lot of footfalls were there, covered on television, so many CCTVs, and how many of those will be converted into actual purchases. The problem is defined like that. Nice, intellectually stimulating, challenging problem. Keep observing the video images, video analytics, and then we can draw a sentiment: positive, negative, or neutral. How to cash on that? Can we contact this particular customer so that we can build further and make the sales happen? Performing sentiment analysis. This is how it is. 100 to 500 employees, technology, Ireland. Criteria: 100 to 500 employees, technology in Ireland. 500 to 1000 employees, healthcare in New England. Now it tells how many companies are there world over. Earlier on, what we were doing, we were creating a database for ourselves. We have a few people who will look at it. How many companies are there in Ireland? We created it. Now we don't have to do that. The ChatGPT will get you how many companies are there in Ireland having 100 to 500 employees. There is no need to do so much of a serious market survey. All this is available in some form or the other. The form and format is of no serious consequence. Just use the ChatGPT, it will answer the question. The criteria is this: 100 to 500 employees, technology-based organizations in Ireland. Automatically it comes. And from within this populated spreadsheet, you can do more and more analysis, more and more advanced analysis. We don't have to do a survey on ourselves. They're all there on the web. Conversations, chats, messages, you name anything. And imagine all that is automated and it populates 500 to 1,000 employees healthcare in New England. It populates. GPT for Excel, where there are practical examples, all are done in a practical manner. This is how it is: company name, description, the industry which it is impacting. So what we need to understand is we don't even have to go fully technical. Please use something like a dictaphone, a voice input. We don't even need to know all that. Just give me 20 rows sample data in a table format where first column must be employee ID, second column must be Indian employee name, third column must be gender, fourth column must be birth date of employee, fifth column must be employee annual CTC, cost to company. Millions of people can be employed, lot of peoples can be employed. In a Ziffy, your table is ready. In a small scale, on a limited scale, it can be done and it can be experienced automatically. Now, next question. We don't want the format. Dollar is not the concern. The CTC should be converted into Indian rupees. This is the employee data. So no, the point is today we are having the idea called Know Your Customer, KYC. Lot of data is getting collected about every customer. It's very important. And all that data we can build further. We can take more analysis on that. We want Indian rupee conversion. I have to follow the above step, but problem is that employee CTC has comma inside the number and dollar sign. So you see, as I speak, it is visual and I can tell them, no, I don't want commas inside the number. Dollar sign is also not from the currency format. There are errors. I can pinpoint that there's an error in this. Generically, it will correct. There are certain things which you'll have to focus on that. So I wanted to paste these values into E column, F column. As we speak, it happens. As we type the question, it happens. Therefore, what is it that we want the human resource to do? Develop good prompts. Prompt is something which is very, very important. They have to develop good prompts to fit the context. Otherwise, we'll be lost in data. There's no end to it. And we don't have a way of cross-checking humanly. Humanly, we cannot cross-check whether this entire thing in millions of cells and columns is correct. Is it going to work for me correctly? It becomes very difficult to do it humanly. But the features are all there. So the prompt becomes the central idea for the human resource, which was there, which was so strong when only Excel was there. Now we have to upgrade the human resource into understanding that the prompt should be engineered properly. The context must be a correct context. There's no point in fighting technology or blaming technology. The context is something which we will have to regulate. This is our context. Right now, 20,000 things are there, but this is exactly the context into which we are fielding this question. There is green mark on the cell of E column and it shows several options like number sorted. So the way we make that prompt happen will hold the key to our success. And that prompt can have role playing. It can play the role of a celebrity. You can describe a style. It does it. Almost, imagine that all these are being looked by that particular person whose role we are attempting to build into the prompt. And it does like that. Very difficult to distinguish between whether it is done by the prompt or by the actual person. So there have been very rapid advances. We have well-tested, well-articulated prompts for Excel. It's a book now, 320 prompts. So what is it that we have done? Simple cells, simple arithmetic formulae, how to look at the relationship amongst the cells to functions, 484 functions. And most of us want to do it. Most of the large organizations want to do it. And then we created a visual basic application interface to make it event driven, because only when I'm looking at that particular idea, it will trigger. 10 windows are open, but then the event is determined by the window which I click, the external responsiveness. It's not being done internally. Event driven is so fascinating that it takes the external choice. The Windows Manager does not dictate. All 10 windows are open. The user, the external fellow, decides a choice. One out of the 10 windows is active to be activated. And yes, it will click. And that is the event on which your massive computing power gets focused and the work gets done. Very powerful idea. Now we are talking about building the human resource oriented towards creating prompts. They are ready-made, 320 prompts, AI-driven solutions to master Excel, automate workflows. See, every organization, every engineering organization knows that we'll have to track the workflow from where, what is it going, where it is going. As I mentioned, I have identified those, mentioned only those technologies which were doing rounds, the blockchaining, the workflow control, most importantly, boost productivity. I've worked with these Indian brands, focus on Indian brands, a bit of a promise that I said I will do it. The world's friendliest business accounting software, everything else is complex. EX was launched in 1991 at Bombay, passed into the future, done by Tata Consultancy Services. It's tailor-made to a given organization. You can configure. The organizational financial expertise is nicely packaged. Nothing else is necessary for a given organization. Procure one EX and then go ahead. Launched a user-friendly accounting software package called EX in India, built the world's friendliest business accounting software. EX went on to become a market leader in India in subsequent years. TCS entered into a joint venture with Swissair to set up the airline financial support services to handle its revenue accounting operations. This was also in 1991. The first foray into the business process services market. Business process outsourcing, many things have happened at that time. Set up the core trading platform for the newly created National Stock Exchange in 1992, which changed the way capital markets worked in India. Topical, so I included these slides, current topics. After 22 years at the helm, during which he built and shaped the company, Mr. F.C. Kohli stepped down from its executive role in 1996 and he was named a vice chairman. TCS signed co-development. You please understand this EX, next generation, builds on what others have done, partner developers have done. If XNGN were targeted at the famed hosiery industry of Tirupur, it would be shipped with integrated software built specifically for the hosiery industry, tailor-made, customized. Microsoft India is also a partner for EXNGN. TCS talked to Microsoft for SQL Server, built-in database engine. Now, all this is done in a Ziffy. We don't have to talk about so many terms. Excel, ChatGPT interface, have a copilot. Please keep speaking. I want to look at the industry of Tirupur, shipped with integrated software built specifically. It's a case study which you can do it and it's easy. Then came the Tally. Tally is a predecessor, but it's a very successful piece of software. 1986. These are Indian examples. Shamsundar Goenka and Bharat Goenka have founded this as a tally, Power of Simplicity, in 1986. It progressed, it made rapid strides. It was initially developed as an MS-DOS based accounting package with the first version known as Putronics. It moved to Tally Solutions, Financial Accountant. Putronics, Financial Accountant. Tally grew from strength to strength and now it's ERP. It's an enterprise resource planning. What started in 1986. The enterprise is bounded. This is what we think is going to happen. It's a good idea, and I had a first-hand experience on this. Power of Simplicity. Tally ERP 9 is the first one. As the industry verbiage goes, it's sort of godfather of accounting. It was introduced into the school textbooks. I was also there a few minutes, and I'll be. I started a bit late, Kamna, so you have to give me 5 minutes.
Sure, sure, sure.
The government of Tamil Nadu, I was in the committee that brought in the Tally for commerce. Tally accounting software is integrated into the educational curriculum in Tamil Nadu through official state board textbooks, specifically for commerce students. A very, very valuable inclusion. A lot of people have taken recourse to doing things on software. It spreads, the idea of taking accountancy at all levels into the spreadsheet in automated form was a great progress in the way we have done accounting. Why is it so? You look at this, the open outcry system of trading, and I still recall those early days. I must thank late Professor J.D. Agarwal, founder of Indian Institute of Finance, in many of those deliberations. The picture people see of stockbrokers shouting and using hand signals, looking as if there's a squabble in their midst. This was the real life scenario of a stock exchange at one point in time. Now, all this can be analyzed. The CCTV, surveillance, all this is subject to a lot of market analysis on its own. Powerful packages like your spreadsheet, ChatGPT, Copilot, everything can be put together. Open outcry system is a trading method used in futures, pits and stock exchanges where traders use verbal and non-verbal signals to communicate. Before the advent of electronic trading, nearly all financial trading was conducted via open outcry. So it's something which we need to understand. The method was like this. Data and electronic trading, everything changed. Everything changed. In the 1970s, the first electronic trading system emerged, which allowed electronic order, saw sophisticated algorithms, significant boom in algorithmic trading. Algorithmic trading has now become the order of the day, and we deal with that. Everything went into the soft versions. They are all available, connected, unstructured data, driven by high-speed internet and advanced technology. The introduction of direct market access in places like India happened in 2008, democratization of trading. And now you see how sleek the stock exchange can be. It is just there. They are all displayed on data. It can be from anywhere. All people need not be in this hall now. It's distributed. It is all over the internet. So we have come to a pass where all this is a reality now. It happens. They are all virtual people. All these data can now be imagined as decked, and your ChatGPT helps you collate them together, puts them together for you on your desktop, wherever you are. Need not be there in any single room, need not be there in a confine. It can be done anywhere. So from what was happening, please remember, verbal and non-verbal signals to communicate to a completely sophisticated, distributed idea. Please look at it from 4th millennium BC to the blockchain. All this has taken an impact on the way we do the work, the way we build accounts, the way we do accountancy. What is the risk involved? I like to close this, another 1 or 2 slides. The Risk Digest, Volume 16, Issue 5. It was a very nice idea. The digests were being published. When was it? 11th May 1994. Are we betting on horses or computers? Off-track betting. The visual which I have shown all drive into these possibilities. Please ponder, please think. So we need to focus on the HRM. That's what we are doing. AICTE and NASSCOM are doing a wonderful exercise of building the human resource, which is of paramount importance. And that human resource management, which began to happen for the first time very prominently in MS Excel, is now manifold. It can go to many people. Many people can be educated. Illinois has a track betting of horse races. Can place your bet at one of these 3 legislated Booker points, then watch the race on the television and collect your winnings. Can be done remotely. It can be done in a distributed manner. So on Saturday, April 23, the computer system handling the betting of some of the remote site crashed after the 4th race. And it was havoc. Tabloid press was furious. It can be sorted out, it can be done, but please remember that there is a dependency on all these things. When winners returned on Sunday to collect, they were surprised to learn that from the racetrack's point of view, they had never placed a bet. All bettings vanished. So there were cases, there were losers. On Monday, a class action lawsuit was filed. By Tuesday, racetrack management had decided to pay up. They had to pay up. We cannot blame technology. We cannot. It's an irrational search for scapegoats. My next talk is to talk about responsible AI. I would stop here. Thank you, Kamna, for giving me this opportunity again. Made it a bit current and topical by touching upon what technology has done in terms of bringing in that civilized way of not only doing the trading, but also managing these errors.
Right, right. Thank you
Thank
so
you
much
so
for that.
much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Gopal. I think one quick thing is that next time maybe you can scroll your screen a little down so that we see your full face.
Oh,
I think.
I see. I've changed the place this time. I came out of my office. Anyway,
Yes,
thanks. Sorry.
yes.
Yeah.
So, thank you so much, and we will see everyone tomorrow again at 6. Some of you don't have your groups right now because you joined late. So tomorrow we'll fix that and join at 6 o'clock. I've shared the reflection annexure journal is basically your feedback, which you can share with us or you can share with Atal. That's your wish. And with that, let's call it a day. It's already very late. Thank you so much to all the faculty members for joining, and we'll see you tomorrow at 6. Thank you, sir.
Any feedback is most welcome. Next iteration will improve. This time I added those few slides and make it
Right,
topical. Thank you so
right.
much.
Thank you
I'll
so
send it
much.
to you, Kam. Thanks.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thanks.